This is Alex.
Huh?
This is Yaman.
Welcome back to the Prude podcast. It's Wednesday.
Welcome.
Today, I want to talk about something pretty important. You might have seen it on the news. It's pretty serious, so I hope we can talk about this in a mature manner. But I want to talk about the yodeling Walmart kid.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the YouTube.
Man, I really couldn't tell if he was joking or not, so I didn't want to make any jokes.
We will jump into that later, obviously.
Do I have to talk about that kid? Because it's just a really annoying, stupid meme.
So I was a little late to it. I was a few days to it.
It wasn't funny at all.
It's more, I think what's more funny is the memes made out of it as a result, Like, I think, for example, the bit where he just says daddy, and people were like, oh, when he's in your guts.
Yeah,
and I'm just oh, that's kind of funny. I don't know. I like it. I like
you
the
like
meme,
really
not to mention that he's like
shit,
actually kind of a good singer.
I have to say. And I don't. So it's kind of hard to compare taste.
Well, we all know you are
a freak
of a low IQ and also are a freak. Patrick, if the Walmart yodeling kid was also eating someone, would you be more accepting?
No, because he's a kid. He's underage. I don't cross those lines.
Interesting. I think you have, but...
Do you ever wonder why there were so many Vors in Dragon Ball Z?
Were there? In particular?
There was Cell, there was Boo. Yeah, that's quite a number.
I don't remember that. Actually,
and there's
that's
3
weird
stages for Cell. He ate 2 people. He sucked a lot of juices out of people. Boo and Majin Buu both absorbed like 15 people.
You know what? You've got me thinking. Kirby is a franchise built entirely on Vor.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So now I was thinking about the new game that just came out, and I was like, oh, Kirby's games are kind of fun. Maybe I should give that game a look. And then I saw a little gameplay demo where he sucks people up and eats them and like gets their powers and whatever, and I was like, wait a minute. Fuck. Patrick has ruined Kirby for me. Because now I think
Patrick's fapping away.
Like, there's definitely someone out there, probably a large subset of people who get off to Kirby's pink round little body as he's devouring things 10 times his size. Like, that's not okay. But
no, it's pretty okay to me.
I assume those people exist out there, and Patrick is definitely one of them. You must be a part of the fan club. You should get me on the mailing list. I want to see what you guys come up with.
It's so fucking funny. I've never seen something that's people so devoted, even though they're completely talentless, to drawing this stuff. Because, like I said before, I think they'll draw like Sonic the Hedgehog, and they'll draw him with a stomach, but it'll be literally a circle. It's so bad, and it's so good at the same time. What I'm
more fascinated by is the people who make that are extremely talented.
Yep.
Like, people who make not only Vor, but just Rule 34 content in general is insane. If you go on the Rule 34 subreddit, there are people there that have made entire, like, 3D rendered animations of, like, Mercy getting fucked by the Hulk or something. It's insane. I'm not even kidding.
No, I know you're not. I've seen that stuff.
And I look at it and I was like, this is weird as fuck, but the craftsmanship on display here is remarkable. And
you
I respect
can see
the art.
how much they wanted this to be a thing.
Yeah.
They learned how to do something in order to bring it to life.
Yeah.
That is how much they like it. It is so amazing.
I always wondered if you're working on something like that in such detail.
Are you turning yourself off and jerking off, like taking breaks to jerk off while you make it?
That's what I was thinking. Or does it become
Because this is your favorite shit. This is your favorite thing in the world that you're making.
Yeah. And so are you, like, actively aroused as you're making this? Or is it kind of the...
Let me fix these hairs on Mercy's eyebrows.
Like you see how the sausage is made because you're making the sausage, and you're just kind of like, oh, this is actually, like, weird. I don't like this anymore.
No, they're definitely super into it.
Yeah.
They're definitely, like, constantly nutting just all over the place.
They have to be, because they don't just stop at one. They keep making them.
Jesus.
They keep coming up with new variations, like fucking Widowmaker getting fucked by, like, I don't know, Reinhardt, or fucking Goku getting fucking pegged by Krillin or some shit. Like, the imagination does not stop. And I'm honestly impressed, and I appreciate it in a strange sense.
There's this guy on Funhaus called Lawrence. His name is Lawrence Sontag.
They call him Lawrence.
They call him Lawrence. But his whole thing is the same shit that I think is funny, but he's actually like into it, I'm pretty sure. It's just hentai, like anime stuff. And I don't know why. Maybe I shouldn't just like make my whole argument about Funhaus that I hate it now, but like it's become like they'll put him on like in the seat where the gameplay is being, had. Like he's the person on the mic and on the keyboard, and then there's two guys behind him doing banter. And it'll just be like some anime titty game and the same jokes over and over again.
Such a great way to describe it, yeah.
And it's just so sad because they used to be. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep complaining about Funhaus.
That's something I actually wanted to ask you guys about, because I remember I wrote down last week that you guys hated Funhaus now, and I know Yaman left that comment on the Funhaus subreddit.
It's so
annoying. Got downvoted into oblivion.
Tore me apart for a constructive. The first comment was like, anybody else feel like the skit was kind of a little unnecessary? And everyone was like, "You're unnecessary. Get the hell out of here."
Jump off a cliff. It was like all it was recently Funhaus. Funhaus is a gaming YouTube channel where they play games and they make jokes, and they're really, really funny. Recently, however, I just want to say they're usually funny because of their wit and like bouncing off each other in the moment. Improv is the word that I'm looking for. Continue. And they've leaned into doing this thing, which is these videos that have heavy editing. So there'll be, I don't know, someone who will say like, "Oh, did you guys see, Gerard Depardieu is in the news," or something like that, and it'll cut to some edited thing of like a little skeleton, and then it just like cut to something. Whereas normally they'd make a joke and that would be fine,
a funny joke, but instead they cut to some skit.
A scripted thing that's really, really lame and boring and dumb, or something edited that's really lame and boring and dumb. And I don't know why they do this. It is so shocking to me that they can't see how unfunny this is. And their audience will tell them that they're amazing 10 times out of 10. And then Yaman will say, I'm not so sure about that.
I don't know.
Be like, what are you, fucking stupid? You don't know comedy if you hit you in the face, you fucking idiot. Yeah, that's all.
Wasn't there a whole thing where they restructured their channel? They made like some sort of big announcement saying, okay, we're going to cut a lot of this content to focus more on other things.
Yes, that was fine. I understand they want to, they want to restructure, they want to continue to grow. Okay. But the changes they're making just don't make sense.
They're also getting so much less views, and they say that they're not, but they very much are. Like they are definitely getting less ad revenue.
Are they uploading more and getting like
I'm not.
No, they're doing the opposite. This is why the change happened. They were like, we're going to be making slightly less videos. Nobody freak out, but slightly less videos, but they're going to be higher quality. And I just put up air quotes because higher quality to them, I guess, means planned out skits that aren't funny.
Huge, elaborate, like they'll have they have this really popular show. It's their flagship called Demo Disc, and they take this big binder full of like 2007 Microsoft demo discs for games, and they'll put them in, and then Adam Kovic will play the game in the front, and in the back you've got James Willems and Bruce Green bannering back and forth about things that's going on in the screen, and sometimes it's not even about what the game is going on, it's just like banner that's very funny, and that was their bread and butter. That was the best shit ever.
It was great.
They introduced this guy named John, who's I'm sure a normal funny person, but they have him come on and do these elaborate disc breaking things because they have to break the disc at the end of the thing. It's so obnoxious and so boring.
No, they do a thing. Listen, when they had John on, maybe the first and second time, it was funny. Okay, then cool. And then they were like, let's do this every single demo disc for the next year and a half. Yeah. And it's like, it's not funny anymore. Why? Like, why?
It's like they want to be Jackass or something. I don't know. Like, the guy will walk on with like a little AR-15 BB gun and be like, hey guys, so we're going to break this disc. And then he'll hold the demo disc on his chest and then get shot at while they break the disc on his chest with the BB gun. And it'll be like, yep, that was, yep.
Yeah, again, it was just like the song when
the singing,
the intros of demo disc.
God.
Bruce would do a parody of a song, and like the first one was like funny, it was good,
and then they did it literally every time,
like every single one for the next like
it was so
month and a half, and it was just unnecessary.
I feel that. What about their other content, like their podcasts or their?
I'll listen to their podcast if I have nothing else to listen to.
So you're pretty much like off the
I'm pretty much off the ship. I've completely like I like go onto the Funhaus YouTube channel and then I'll look at what they've uploaded, and I'd look through, like I'd play the videos and then decide for myself if I didn't like them. But now I'm looking at the titles and like what the name of the video is, and just like that doesn't sound fun, and then I just stop. And I might just unsubscribe. Like that's how far it's gone.
It used to be like you go to the channel, you see they've uploaded 4 or 5 videos since you last checked the channel, and that meant you were going to watch 4 or 5 videos. Yeah. Now it's like 4 or 5 videos.
Oh, they uploaded a Wheelhouse. Let me watch that.
One of them's a Wheelhouse, a Hitman gameplay. Okay, I'll watch it. But like, just otherwise, it's just not.
Yeah, they somehow made that what's the Mafia game? True Detective game. I don't remember what it's called. It's Mafia. From a while. Not Mafia. It's just like a detective game. It's got that facial capture.
Oh, L.A. Noire.
L.A. Noire.
L.A. Noire.
They made that
funny.
Amazing. And then they would cut to these skits in the middle and interrupt the comedy completely. And it was so annoying. Like, I know that they really, really think that that's funny. They have to think that's funny, or else they wouldn't put it out.
They think more time equals better. Like, they're like, because we just spent an hour making the skit for this video, it has now become a better video. Yeah. But that's not always true.
I kind of feel the same way. I'm not like a huge Funhaus person, so I'm like the outsider here. I tried to watch a few of their videos and thought it was fine, but I am not a huge gameplay person anymore. Yeah. I used to be huge into gameplay commentary, especially back during like when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was really popular. Same. I was all about that stuff. Hutch, CNNers, all those guys. And they're still around, sort of. But I kind of feel the same way in regards to another Rooster Teeth YouTube channel, Sugar Pine 7. I kind of just like...
I told you. Nobody cares about them anymore.
I don't even actively hate them. One day I just like... Their videos slowly went from when I see it in my sub box, I would watch it immediately, to slowly, like, it wouldn't be the first thing I'd watch going through my sub box that day, to I just missed one. Oh, and I missed a few.
Sorry?
Sugar Pine 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I missed one. I missed a few. Now I haven't watched one in like a month, I think. And like when I try to catch up on them, there's like storylines and stuff, which I didn't ever really want them to get that serious. And like sometimes them being serious was the funny part, but they're doing it a little bit much now. Like they're actually trying to create drama. Yeah. I'm just
it's not funny. It's more almost cringy. It's just like, I don't know, these grown adults running around in public, and it feels gross. And maybe people really enjoy that. They're very successful. They're doing very well with so is Funhaus. I'm not trying to hash on their thing, but for me personally, that's it.
I think it's just that. Sorry, I'm gonna go. I was talking
because we were talking about Sugar Pine 7. I was gonna say that when Steven Suptic was on Funhaus's channel for a video, I was like, this dude is hilarious. I love his humor. And I was like, I'm going to go check out his channel. And I hated it. It was the weirdest thing. How I really enjoyed when he was on a guest on Funhaus's videos.
It was improv.
But when he was doing his own, the improv versus like the planned,
scripted,
heavily edited, scripted stuff. It was like, you're witty. You can make something out of nothing, but how can you not make something out of something? It doesn't make sense.
It's so annoying because you see like James and Elise and like all these people are so funny. Like they're so witty and quick, like with a joke, and they're just awesome. And then they'll make something like the metal band show that they made.
Sex Swing.
It's horrible. I'm gonna tell you, Pena, if you don't know. So they have the show called Open House, which is literally just them reading comments from previous videos and then riffing on it. They did one, and one of the questions was like, I don't know, something like, if you guys had a metal band, what would it be called? And then Bruce, I think, said Sex Swing, and then they made a bunch of jokes about the idea of having a band called Sex Swing. They made a skit. They put on costumes and did an actual live band show. They made an animated series.
This went all the way to like Rooster Teeth.
This went up to like full screen,
it was horrible.
Was involved. Like there's so
they
much.
Did one season, right?
It was one season, and then it got canceled as shit. It was the most canceled show ever. Never has a show been more canceled.
What the fuck?
It was so spectacular. I was waiting for them to stop and be like, "This is an April Fool's joke," even though it was in the middle of summer. Like I was waiting for them to say, "Like, no, this isn't real. This is a joke. Why would we ever do that? That's so fucking stupid and not funny." The animated show was really fucking stupid and bad. Everything about it was really bad. I feel bad because they might see this, but they're not going to see this. They don't care.
It's the community. I'm telling you, when they did it, the handful of diehard 12-year-old fans
14-year-olds, yeah,
were like, LOL, Sex Swing.
Yep.
And then they just kept mashing in the comments about how incredible it was.
How hilarious.
When there was really no comedic weight to it. And so they try to make something out of nothing, and they just couldn't do it. It's just...
And they were enjoying themselves while they were doing it. And I understand, like, yeah, and making an animated series is fun, and I'm sure you guys could very easily do our more Rick and Morty style thing where it's mostly improv and based on jokes that you make in the moment, rather than... I don't know if it's they can't write, they're like illiterate or something, and everything they write down is completely misinterpreted on the end note, but apparently they can't write anything down that is funny. I'm not sure that they're capable of it. It's impressive how bad it is.
So it's funny. I just think the concept of like how Rooster Teeth is structured is kind of weird, because growing up, when I knew Rooster Teeth as the guys that made Red versus Blue, and I fucking loved Red versus Blue. I thought that was the funniest shit in the world. It's probably not funny at all now. I think they're still doing it, right?
It's actually more cool than it is funny, because they do mocap and they like get fight scenes and stuff. It's kind of interesting. I haven't watched it in a really long time.
I mean, they obviously like when the show started. I watched through like Halo 3.
They make Ruby and Camp, and they're
That's the other thing I
doing
don't
very
get.
very good. Like on Netflix type stuff, and it's just like, whoa.
That's what I don't get is. So they go from Red versus Blue being this like, they basically founded the concept of machinima, like in-game movies and stuff.
Head-bobbing stuff.
Red vs. Blue was hilarious and awesome, and I watched Achievement Hunter briefly and then totally dropped off of Rooster Teeth for years until Sugar Pine 7 basically, they acquire them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Who is Rooster Teeth to acquire a YouTube channel? And then I find out they own not only Sugar Pine 7, they own Funhaus, they own Kinda Funny Games, they own
Cow Chop.
I didn't even know what the fuck Cow Chop was, but yeah, they own Cow Chop. And then not only that, they make board games apparently. They have their own anime. When I found out
they have movies.
Yeah.
They literally have movies.
I know they made Laser
Team
Team, which was
garbage.
fucking like cringy as shit. I was like, that's dumb.
I
That's
went
like
to see that in the theater.
We did. I feel like it would have been better if
it didn't
not
suck.
for the well, yeah, that would help too. But just the audience members that, I guess Rooster Teeth knew what they were doing. They were like, we don't have to make it funny. As long as we just put in enough references for the people to feel special when they recognize them, they'll think the movie's good. So like every time there was a reference, some neckbeard would just shout during the middle of the movie.
There are these people who aren't capable of criticizing people that they like. I love Funhaus. I will watch them until I die, probably, even if they're terrible, because it's just like, I'm invested. I've been in this for so long, I'm never gonna stop. But people on these like the subreddit and like when they read comments, it's just like, oh, here's another joke, here's something for you to riff on, instead of anything critical. Why not say, hey, maybe this sucks, maybe don't do that? Nobody says that. Yaman says that, and then he gets shit on for 20 minutes by every idiot on that subreddit. I think about it every time.
I think about it like, I really wish. But like you said, I don't know if we were talking about this or what we were talking about, but you said it's like shouting into the void, and that's what it feels like when you put a critical comment on their subreddit. It just feels like why? Yeah. Why am I even doing this?
And we read, I went back, and there was a similar post to what you made back in 2016 or 2017. God. And it was literally just a dressing down of the way they were going. And Bruce actually responded to it, and he basically said, you know, it was like, I appreciate the constructive criticism. You were very well thought out and well put, and we're actually doing better than ever in terms of view count and ad revenue. And I was just like, what the fuck? That's not what he said. He didn't say you're doing terribly, stop doing this or your whole company's going to fail. He just gave you a constructive criticism on the level of comedy that you have. And then he says, like, we're doing pretty good for ourselves, though. That was his response. It was just weird. It felt strange.
That's. I mean, if you look at Achievement Hunter, their whole thing is that they're still doing Minecraft videos.
Pander.
They're still doing Minecraft videos, and if you look at the views, their Minecraft videos have the most views out of all their videos. So it's it's like how are they still making Minecraft videos? Well, they're still being watched, so they're still gonna make them.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. From their perspective, they are doing everything right. Like they are maximizing their views.
They look at the numbers.
Like, and it's a business thing.
It's a business,
and they also even like their bad ideas, quote unquote, that you guys don't like, and that guy like obviously gave constructive criticism on. You know, that ends up falling on deaf ears because they're not seeing any like repercussions. Like they're not losing views, they're not losing money. So they're obviously whatever direction they're in right now must be the right one because they're doing so well. So why should I listen to someone like Yaman? Why would I change anything when we're doing so well? You know, like that's just the reasoning behind it.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They were doing well and they decided to change. Funhaus specifically. I don't get what prompted them to go, we need more skits. I don't know what, because they were growing before, and then they added skits, and they continued to grow, so they credited that growth to the skits when they were growing before.
There was like one they did when they're in the first maybe a year of the company. They did one where all of them are standing around shirtless. Do you remember that one?
Yeah,
it was really cringy, and the lines that they threw out, they're not great actors, and when they have to do that kind of on the like serious note stuff, it's kind of strange and it doesn't feel right. Man, we're really dressing down these grown men and women that might eventually hear about this through someone on Twitter. I feel bad. If that actually happens, I'm never going to talk to anyone ever again.
I was going to title this podcast "We Hate Funhaus." So.
Please don't.
No, don't do that because that's not true. Because it's not true. I love literally Funhaus. The opposite. It's like watching your kid do drugs and you're like, don't do drugs. We love you. Please.
Maybe you don't understand how many videos I watch like in my free time. It is all the time. I just inject content into my vein. I got mainline content. And they used to be the gold resource for it because they were just so good all the time, consistently firing on all cylinders, just the best. And now it's just like, man, the things that are coming down the line that I'm shoving into my mouth, they're kind of tasting like lead now. And I'm going to keep eating it, but
I'm going to keep doing it. But it used to be like they put out a bunch of videos and it just wouldn't be enough. I'd end up, once, if there were no videos, I'd go back and watch all of the old good ones. I'd like remember the lines.
Inside Gaming
and
things. Like when they were
going
before.
Back to Inside
I'd replay videos.
What would you guys consider who are your new gold standard creators now, I guess?
Donkey.
Like who makes that? Donkey, that's who I was thinking.
Donkey's consistently the best ever.
Yeah, he really is.
And he puts out a video every 3 years, but it's so good every single time.
He really doesn't upload that infrequently. It's like once a week.
For someone who gets like that many views.
I mean, he's not at least like JonTron bad. JonTron goes missing for years at a time.
JonTron.
He's also racist.
Yeah, he's also
a big stupid idiot.
Yeah, he's not smart. I don't know how the fuck JonTron like maintains a living.
What do you mean?
Like, because he doesn't make content. He barely makes content. Like once a year, if that. Like, what else does he do? He must be like working on something else, right? Like, what the fuck is he doing?
Well, let me think. I actually don't know because a lot of ad people pulled out after that whole thing. And you see his new videos, and like at the end of the video have some weird obscure company as his commercial at the end.
Oh, is it
very strange? Yeah, it'll be like I don't know, like Blue Apron, but not like red tunic.
Yeah, I mean,
it says his professions. Under his professions, it's listed: YouTuber, comedian, internet celebrity, singer, screenwriter, voice actor, television director.
Oh yeah, he was supposed to be in Banjo-Tooie.
Yeah, but no, the new one,
spiritual successor, not
banjo tooie? Ukulele,
and then they took him out because he's a big racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, funny. he could be doing other things. Is what I'm.
He could be
a writer or something.
That's interesting. He would have to ghostwrite for them, but okay.
He's funny. Why didn't he just shut up?
He is funny, but then he like got into this weird anti-SJW like
he went
cult
out of his way to get on a fucking hate train.
Yeah, I mean, he literally did that to himself. It's hilariously bad.
I don't want this to sound like those fucking assholes who go like, "Oh, Hollywood elites, shut up about politics." That's not what I mean. I mean, don't be fucking racist.
Yeah, like I don't care if JonTron has opinions on things. I just don't want them to be racist opinions on things.
He literally, what did he say exactly? He said, rich blacks commit more crime than poor whites. It was just like, oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
And they also mentioned something about like immigrants coming into this country dirty the gene pool or something.
Yeah, something like that.
He said something weird about
no, I'm not how could I possibly hate immigrants when my parents are immigrants? It's like, you're very capable of that. Everybody is.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's sad to see all of our stars dying, but at least we still have Donkey.
Such a weak
Who else
argument.
is consistently amazing? Oh, Albino. I've recently just like collected a slew of creators that don't have a face or a voice, and if they're using audio or narration, it'll be voice to text, and the only image of them is a cartoon image or like some persona in air quotes. So like Donkey will talk, but you don't really see his face that often. It's just the dunk or logo. And for Albino, it's the same. It's just this girl with blue hair, and all her videos are just very funny, really well edited. And there's almost no narration the entire time, unless it's like "my good Doge," like just Anyway,
do you guys watch Nakey Jakey?
Nope.
He's like B tier Donkey. He's like kind of in the same vein, but like not as good. But like,
does he sound like him?
No, not at all. He has like an interesting shtick. I think he's pretty funny, but he's not as good as Donkey.
There are a lot of people.
Philip DeFranco's been my gold tier for a long time.
If you really want to know stuff, yeah, but he's not really a cheery person.
Oh, well, no, I'm not talking about strictly funny stuff, just like, who's the first person I jumped to in my sub box. Oh, Binging with Babish, yeah.
Every Frame of Painting was so good, but they're done.
Yeah, they're do like real shit now.
Good Mythical Morning. Do any of you?
I do. I've tuned in a couple of those. Those are good.
I think they're my most watched.
The one
right
where
now,
they
since Funhaus fucking died.
They do the last meals on death row thing. That was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do hot ones depending on who the guest is.
Love hot ones. I watch it all the time, regardless of the guest.
If it's someone I don't care about, I
almost didn't watch.
Don't
the
bother.
One,
Why didn't you watch the Logic one? That was one of the best ones.
I don't know.
Really? I really liked him. I don't know a lot about him, honestly, besides that he's from Maryland, but I thought he doesn't have
he doesn't come to the DMV in his upcoming tour. You know how fucking ridiculous that is. He doesn't come to the DMV in his upcoming tour.
Would you go if you had a chance?
It's him and another rapper called NF that I really like.
NF is god tier though.
I think, and then there's one more person, and he's from Maryland and he reps Maryland in his songs, and he didn't come to the DMV, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Wait, I'm looking at this.
Maybe because he thinks if he comes back, they'll fucking book him for selling crack.
He's coming to Boston on my birthday. But wait, that's fucking stadium. Is it in Boston? I hate it when people are like, oh yeah, this artist will be at this gigantic stadium in Boston. I'm like, that stadium is like 50 miles outside of the city. There's no way I can get there.
How much is Boston part of your identity? You bring it up a lot.
Considering I live here 75% of the year, like.
And is this 75% of you is Boston?
75% of the year I live here.
But how much of you is made up of Boston? On a percentage scale,
I'd say like a 40%,
and then 60% journalist.
Oh, I thought you were speaking strictly location. Like if I say I'm 40% Boston, 60% DMV, whatever you want to call it. But if we're breaking me down into like everything I'm interested in at all, probably like less than 1% Boston.
It's just usually like when you get serious, it's like as someone who's from Boston or as someone who Here's my unique journalistic perspective. Is one that I listened to on the podcast the other day. It's either about journalism and your highfalutin opinion about something, or Boston.
Well, I am an authority figure. I'm the adult in this podcast, and I have to establish my presence as such. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's like kind of unintentional, but like based on like some fan responses, that's like
you do seem like the dad of the whole thing, but maybe that's because you're in charge of the list of things and also everything else.
That's fair.
And maybe because you beat me.
What the fuck?
Whoa.
Did you say, bitch?
So wait, what do I get when I do it?
You get an ass pounding. That's what you get.
I'm not your dad.
I thought you loved me. Show me you love me and beat me.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways.
Okay. Let's move on to something a little bit more positive in the meantime.
Is it about that fucking yodeling dude?
No, we don't have to talk about the
I
yodeling
really don't
dude.
want to. It's so stupid.
Yeah, you're fine. So I sent you the GIF of the new Spider-Man game that looks sick. So I watched some more videos on it.
And it's never coming to Xbox One.
Yeah, it's a PlayStation exclusive, which I don't give a shit. I mean, I have a PlayStation.
Not just a PlayStation exclusive, but they specifically said this will never go to Xbox One. And it's usually like, oh, in a year this will go to all the consoles. But no, never.
That's a very Microsoft thing to do, though.
Yes, it is.
Where they'll be like,
fuck you, Activision.
Yeah, they'll be like, this is an Xbox exclusive, but it'll be coming to PC next year.
Yeah.
They do that a lot.
I mean, Sony like financed this game. Sony never does like timed exclusives usually. They're the ones that are always like, if it's exclusive forever.
God, that's like all of my dreams. Just like the web slinging and flying through buildings and crawling around on stuff.
It looks incredible, right? Like I like this little detail that he can't web sling when he's like out in the open. Like he has to attach himself to buildings basically. So that brings it back to like, you know, the Spider-Man 2 video game on GameCube, which I played as a fucking kid.
On freaking PS2.
Yeah,
I
dude,
played
exactly.
The shit out of that.
Which I tried to go back and play, and I was like, this game is a piece of shit.
Back when they actually got like the movie actors to do the narration in those stupid games.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire sounded all goober.
I'm curious to know actually who's voicing Spider-Man in this one, because it's not.
It's the most generic dude. I can't remember, but you recognize him because he's in everything. He's that
Troy Baker.
I'm a little white guy. That's his voice.
Oh, okay.
It's not Seth Green. It's
Are you doing the voice?
It might be. It might be me. I actually wouldn't remember if it was me.
You're under NDA, Patrick. You'd be I don't know how you would do voice acting Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's like.
He's got
a much happier
voice.
Like he's like squirrely and like happier. He has like a similar sense of humor to you, but yours is you're like a drier version.
I feel like I'd be a good Jason Todd.
Potentially. I feel like you would be like a good kind of alternate Spider-Man. You know, like if Spider-Man was older.
2099, he's pretty serious.
Yeah, like if he was older and jaded
Noir.
or something, you know? I think that would be like
Venom.
Pretty interesting.
Eddie Brock.
Yeah, you can be fucking Eddie Brock and you already like to put slime all over yourself, so I'm sure you're up for the role.
When I get vored, it's got to be different.
You're literally getting vored, so like that seems to be right up your alley. But
dude, you would love Venom.
We had a whole discussion about Venom and his mouth.
Yeah, we had a whole fucking cartoon
about that too.
Physical
anatomy of him.
I love it.
Was it when I wasn't here?
Yes, you're never here.
Yeah, you're right.
But no, the game looks really sick, and what's cool about it is that even though it's not technically like a Marvel MCU thing or anything, they aren't shying away from that stuff. Like the Avengers Tower is in New York City. There's even a Wakandan embassy from what I was reading. So it's weird. It's like pseudo Marvel Cinematic Universe, but not really. They seem to just be wanting to like tie in all that stuff just because they can, not because it will have any like.
This is the
deeper
perfect time to release this game, to be honest, because there was Homecoming, and now with Infinity War focusing a lot of it, the trailers, pictures, and visuals on Spider-Man. It's just like everybody's like Spider-Man. It's like he's on the uprise again.
Yeah, exactly.
All those old games. My favorite shit in the world was like Batman as well, just changing
Arkham
your
Asylum.
costume.
You guys remember Arkham Asylum?
There's
Arkham
DLCs
Asylum and
that I
Arkham City are the best superhero games ever made.
Arkham Origins is pretty good.
I never played Origins. Arkham Knight was some shit. Let me just say.
I liked it because
Tank Simulator 2015. It was a really pretty game, but the twist to that game was so fucking predictable, and I did not want to be in a car as much as I did.
Wait,
in that
did
game.
you knew the twist because you know who Jason Todd was?
Yes.
Okay.
But also,
it blew my mind.
I'm glad it blew your mind, but at the same time, like, I remember before that game came out, people were like, "Oh, the Red Hood is this new?" No, not the. Well, that spoils it. But the Dark Knight or the what the fuck is he called in the game? The Arkham Knight is like
fucking game.
A brand new villain that is straight from our studio. Like, he's never been used in any sort of medium before. And people were like, "You sure this sounds a lot like the Red Hood? You sure?" Like, yes, guys, we're 100% serious. Like, this is a brand new character. We can't wait for you to see him. Game comes out. It's the Red Hood, of course. Obviously, like beat for beat, his entire origin story is exactly the same, pretty much.
No.
I mean, like a little bit. Kidnapped, tortured by the Joker, yada yada. He dies, but then not really.
Anyway,
give me your. I'm curious to know what your thing.
I liked it, and I think that game ends on a perfect note with the mansion destroying itself. For Terry McGinnis to take up the reins in a new game about Batman Beyond.
Oh, God, I wish.
I would fucking nut.
Batman Beyond has not gotten as much love as it deserves.
They just started making new comics.
Yeah, like...
They're good.
It's funny. In the world of comics, like, anything goes pretty much. Like,
that
everything...
outfit is so fucking delicious to look at.
It really is. Like, everything... you love that you wish was like still in the air, or like you wish had another series or another movie, probably exists in some way or another as comics. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra ended, and now they have a bunch of comic books that continue their adventure. And I'm just like, why didn't you just make another season if you have all this story left? Like, you could have done something with that, but no, like. They wanted to take the cheap route and fucking make comic books, which is fine. I respect comic books, but I also would rather be the original fucking thing. Like,
it's very hard to, like, Yaman, you read The Runaways, right?
I did,
and
yes.
What did it take for you to get into that? Like, did you pick up the first copy, or did someone recommend it?
It was I don't remember what it was called at our high school, but, like, we had to either do homework or read or something, and I didn't want to do anything, but... The teacher I had for that period was like really cool, and he was like, "You like comic books? Here, try one of these." And I read one.
And that's how it happened. But
that's how it happened. Like, I don't think that's what you were looking for, but like, that's how it happened.
You can hear about a really good story. Like in the news, it'll be, this new Batman comic is sweeping the nation, and it'll sell 8 copies, and no one will read it, and it'll barely get read online because that's a dumb format. Comic Storian. Where he reads through, I will watch those all day. I hate reading comics. It's so monotonous and like turning pages and going out and buying them or getting them on Amazon or the app that I have for comics. It's just money. A lot of money.
See, I'm the opposite. I like to read comics physically or digitally. Like, I don't have a problem with that, but they're so fucking expensive.
And you have to buy so many to get the stories. Because there's like 87 issues in one like story, and that's like what, $10 a copy, and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, or if you want to buy the full volume set or something, it's ridiculously expensive.
When you bought The Walking Dead.
I have the first 2 Walking Dead compendiums, which are like the biggest possible collections of those, and I read through those, and I fucking love them. That's the only thing of The Walking Dead I like besides the first season of the Telltale game. And each of those books is like $60, $80 or something ridiculous.
They're very expensive.
I haven't bothered getting the third one because I'm like, I don't want to drop another $60 to $80 on this. Like, most of the other ones I got were gifts, but I've never actually gotten it for myself. So.
It's like animation light is kind of the way I think of it. It's just like a bunch of art and then some story thrown in. And it's different. Like, the reason that it's so different than a book is because some people are stupid like me and they really need pictures. And like, a book is fun and you can imagine all that stuff for yourself, but a comic book, I can tear through a comic book in like 80 seconds. It's just like so quick just to absorb all that imagery.
And you get all the same story that you would have got from words.
Exactly. And it's
through the
so
images.
Pretty. And usually it's like half the appeal is of buying the comic is to get the art and like save that for yourself because it looks so good. Like, I don't do that anymore because it's just money, and you have to buy so many of the comics just to get the full scope of the story that you want to read. Like The Dark Knight, like the The Knight Returns Part 1 and 2. I've watched the animated movies for those, and I was just like, those are really good. I want to try to see if I can get like the first issues for those. And I looked up, and I think they're like $700. Like, they printed 100 billion of those things, but super expensive, and I don't want to do that.
Something I like, and I ran into this when I was reading the new run of Star Wars comics back when Disney started printing those again under Marvel. And I was super into them for a while, but I was reading them through Marvel Unlimited, which is actually a really cool concept, and I wouldn't mind signing up for it again. It's basically $15 a month. You
That's
get
a lot.
Their entire Marvel back catalog up until like 6 months. So it's on a 6-month delay. So like if a comic came out today, wouldn't get it until 6 months later, which kind of sucks, but honestly not the worst thing in the world, especially considering you have this massive back catalog to work with. But $15 a month for all of those comics, that's a really fucking good deal, honestly. Like,
yeah, but
that'd buy me like 3 comics, maybe.
How many comics are you reading though?
A lot. Like I tear through 3 comics in like one sitting.
That's not what I mean. How many stories? Like there's Star Wars, and then there's Sarah Jones, and you're reading the volumes of Sarah Jones. How many of those different kinds of comics are you reading? How many of those stories are you reading?
I mean, I was actually reading quite a bit just because I had so much to work with. I would Google, like, okay, what are the best Star Wars comics? What are the best Daredevil comics? Like, where should I start? And I liked it because it made it so accessible. It's kind of like Netflix where, like, I've already invested pretty much, so I can just pick and choose and try things, sample things as much as I want. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. Like, I don't lose anything. Like, as long as I like at least, like, 3 or 5 issues enough, the service basically pays for itself. Like, same thing for Netflix. Like, Netflix has a massive catalog. I don't like everything on Netflix, but because they have a decent number of shows,
they have so many things, and I think it's very different watching shows than it is reading comics. To get me to read a comic, I'll need, like, a recommendation from a friend. I'll like the art, and I've heard from, like, a different reviewer that it's good, and then I'll read the comic. And then very rarely I'll pick up, like, just by magic, pick one, and then it's very good. But that's like, I read 2% of the comics that are being made now. Like, and getting $15 a month for a subscription service to read 2 comics a month does not seem worth it to me. And I think more than one people have that. Like, Yaman doesn't read any comics, but he does the Runaways.
If you obviously don't read any comics, then yeah, it's definitely not going to be worth it for
comics.
You. But if you're looking for a more cost-effective way to read multiple stories, then yeah, it's great. Like, I haven't read a comic book in the past like 6 months probably. And when I had Marvel Unlimited, I would read tons of stories a week, like tons of them. I would just Google, like, what's the best fucking this comic, and I'd be like, check it out, and like, okay,
you Google it exactly like that. You type in what's the best fucking comic.
It's funny. There's a lot of really passionate lists out there. I looked up a while to find out what the best like Daredevil comic was. A lot of people have different opinions.
They're also, the world of comics is super impenetrable to people who haven't been invited into it yet. There's the Amazing Spider-Man, but with Miles Morales, but with Iron Fist as his partner. That run of issues is 87 volumes in, or something like that. And there's like 87 lines to get to that. I don't know. And then you get, Deadpool, but Deadpool's working with Spider-Man in this issue, but it's also with the Fantastic Four, and that's the whole issue. And it's 87 issues in. Like, everything.
That's probably one of the reasons I don't do comics. That's probably it.
Like, you're standing on the sidelines, and there was a marathon running, but they're in like Kentucky now, and getting there is going to take some fucking legwork, unless you want to just take a helicopter and get there. But you're not going to know what happened for that entire thing, so you feel lost.
Yeah.
It's like a TV show that's on their like 16th season. And you're like, man, I'm really interested, but like,
I don't want to do the
16
legwork.
Seasons, like, I have to start from the beginning, but like at the same time, I don't want to, I want to see the newest stuff, but it's like
this is exactly why Marvel and DC reset their fucking comics every 2 minutes, because that brings new people in every single time. And it's the most that they sell comics is when they do, this is Avengers issue 1, and then it'll be, Riri Williams,
that's where I'd start.
Female Thor, like, just like new comics, new people, and it'll be a beautiful splash image, and then like a month will go by, And then, like, everybody's back to their usual thing of, I bought the first 2 comics, and now I'm never buying another comic. And then they reset it again. And DC is now doing Dark Knight's Metal, or, like, some of these, like, complicated, convoluted shit. And then it gets really complicated and convoluted because it's a story, and writers are trying to tell a story. And then board executives walk into their drawing room, and they're just like, we're going to reset this whole thing. You might want to wrap up your storyline. And then the Dark Knight's Metal people are looking around like, we've been working on this story for 3 months, and it's coming to a head. This is so important. This is like, I don't care. We're going to make some money. Wrap it up then. You got to wrap it up. It's so annoying.
I actually get what you mean from that perspective, because I think part of the reason I really liked Marvel Unlimited is that all of the new Marvel Star Wars comics were just starting. Like, all of them had, like, 10 issues, if that. Yeah. And so it was really easy to, like, follow along, read them all. I felt like I was just catching just getting on the train and, like, getting on this journey. And that was rewarding. And then my free trial ran out. I went back to see what I'd missed, and then I was, like, 60 issues behind, all things considered. And I'm like,
and then you give up.
But then I hear about some of the stories I missed out on, like Darth Vader fucking, like, crushing, like, some Geonosian Queen Mother egg or something with his bare hands, and I'm just like, that's fucking cool. I should have read that shit.
Does that sound cool? That sounds really stupid.
Oh, dude, he, like, wrecks shit. Like, Darth Vader in the comics, in the new comics especially, is, like, one dark, violent motherfucker. It's just him, like, murdering people constantly. It's great.
I know that there was one where they talks about his when he got his new lightsaber, he had to get a crystal from an old Jedi who had been sitting around doing nothing for like 87 years. And then he fought the new Jedi, but he couldn't beat him because he was so good. So Darth Vader just held up a bunch of rocks above some civilians or something. And then the old Jedi was like, no! And then he tried to save him. And while he was trying to save the guy, lightsaber just went into his back and just killed him. And he just murked the motherfucker.
It was a trap.
It was a trap!
How often are there like one issue comic books? Like, just so I bring this up because when you asked about how I got into The Runaways, that wasn't even the first comic I read in that class. The first comic I read was called Pride of Baghdad. Have you guys heard of that?
Is that one of those, like, realistic comics that's like...
It's about lions.
Oh.
It's about lions that... And I have the description here.
Any comics that aren't, like, about superheroes or, like, franchises or stuff are, like, anomalies to me, because I'm just like, damn, they make comic books about, like, war stories and shit?
Really good.
What's the description?
It's really... So this is... Pride of Baghdad is from the point of view of lions that have escaped from a zoo during the invasion of Baghdad. The graphic novel is loosely based on a true incident. There's some interesting panoramic artwork. The character development of the Pride is really well done.
You showed me this.
I think I did
in high
because
school.
it was so good. Yes, I don't like comics, but I read this and it's so beautiful.
I remember
it's
being
so
completely
well
surprised
done.
that you had any interest in anything.
I know.
Besides video
so
games.
did I. It's so well done, and I still remember the ending, which I'm not gonna. Because audience, you should check it out. It was a really good comic.
That does sound really interesting. I would have to check it out. It is.
It'd be worth your time. It's not too long. It's not, and it's one. Like I said, that's why I was bringing it up. Because if there were more like that, I'd read it. If it was like I just sit down for a couple minutes and just more than a couple minutes, but just like read that one issue and know that I've gotten through the whole story.
Exactly.
I don't need to wait for the next issue to see what's next.
Yeah,
that sounds a bit more appealing to me personally.
You know what? The best example of that, sorry to cut you off, Patrick, is, and I feel bad for not having read this yet, is Watchmen. I feel like Watchmen is kind of like...
That's fucking impenetrable, gotta say.
Yeah, like, Watchmen is upheld as, like, one of the greatest graphic novels of all time.
The guy who made it is fucking insane.
Yeah, he is crazy. But I love the movie, even though it's somewhat controversial. So I've been wanting to read for the book for a while, but, like, I'll like, flip through the book, and it's just, like, literally fucking dense. Like, the panels are dense. The dialogue boxes are literally dense. It's a lot.
Are you saying it's good or bad?
I don't know, because I never actually read it, but it's, like, daunting to approach.
It is.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
I'm like, I would love to, like, read this and, like, really get invested in this whole thing, because this has a lot to say about whatever. But, this presentation is a lot. And now they made some, like, sort of, like, sequel to Watchmen with more DC characters called Doomsday Clock. which I think
where
we've talked about
Rorschach
before.
meets Batman. It's interesting so far. I'm watching it on Commissarian. I'm not going to pay for it, but I can't wait for someone to just reset the whole thing and then send their characters back to other stuff because they got bored or they wanted to make some money. Because why let anything play out and why tell a story?
Yeah, why would you ever tell a story?
Why can't they wrap up a story? Why do they? Why do they have
Because that's
to be
not how comics work.
Yeah, and I don't like that.
There's
like I get it. I'm not trying to change the whole dynamic.
Like with
of comics. I'm just
Spider-Man,
saying this
there's
is
the
a problem.
Clone Saga, but when people were reading it, they weren't like, "Man, let's wrap this up," like, because it's
get it. Yeah.
When you read a comic, it's like this like packaged deal of like, "Oh man, there's drama and envy and and action all in that one comic," and then you go to the next one, same deal. So you're not getting tired of it necessarily if you really like it. Because each one is interesting to you. And so when they wrap it up, it's like, oh, I guess I'm done.
How often do you get like filler comments?
All the time.
Yeah, that's what I don't want. Like mid-season episodes of a show that's just like to fix up some story stuff and like nothing serious or anything like that happens.
But sometimes the filler is actually really
not a fan of
good.
that.
Like there was one with Peter Quill, Star-Lord, who was trapped on Earth and he had to become like a community service guy because he crashes his starship into some airport or something like that.
Oh, he looks cool.
It's cool, and they took his guns away, and now he's a bartender. And like old man Logan comes to see him and says, "It's like, man, you really look shitty." And then it's just like his adventures, like helping this old man who used to be a criminal. It's really interesting. The art's by Kevin. I can't remember.
What's his name? He looks like the dude from Guardians of the Galaxy, the white dude. Oh well, there you go.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt. That's the dude.
Or Chris Pratt looks like Star-Lord.
All right, so...
Dang, that was deep.
Should we pivot to... We're kind of nearing an hour here. So this is actually like kind of serious. This just happened yesterday. Oh, sorry. Oh, shit. I heard a video started autoplay on this fucking website I'm on, and I thought one of you guys was doing that. But so obviously the YouTube shooting happened yesterday, and I think like 4 or 5 people got sent to the hospital, and it wasn't a like an intentional mass shooting thing apparently. I don't understand. It's bizarre because it's not what you would think of as, oh, this is a terrorist act or whatever. This was just like seemingly a crazy person, this crazy woman who apparently had a weird like vegan YouTube channel thing, and she was constantly making videos about her getting her ad revenue getting cut and her getting demonetized and stuff, which obviously a lot of people know about. Yeah.
I was making... Oh. Here is
a quote from one of her posts. There is no equal growth opportunity on YouTube or any other video sharing site. Your channel will grow if they want it to. YouTube filtered my channels to keep them from getting views. Another post accuses closed-minded YouTube employees of putting an age restriction on videos, saying it's aimed at reducing views and discouraging the woman from making new videos.
Sounds like the crazy dude from InfoWars.
Yeah.
Alex Jones.
So
that crazy dude.
So it's this bizarre case of
a psycho.
Just like a psycho, really.
Isn't that terrorism though?
I mean,
her intent was just to kill people for doing something that she deemed to be wrong, and she thought this would bring some kind of scary change. Yeah. So that's terrorism.
I don't know if that was her goal specifically.
You don't think that's why?
In that light, I think she was just a crazy person.
She walked into YouTube for no other reason.
I think she just walked into YouTube because she was mad and she was crazy. So she was like, that's it. I'm going to take it out.
And so I'm going to take it out on these people and send fear into their hearts, and maybe I'll get some change made out of this for what I want.
I don't know if she thought she would get out of that alive.
I don't think that she
people
ever
ever
would
think about these things, but that's besides the point. Obviously, it's this bizarre, extreme response to something we've seen people complain about on YouTube for a long time, censorship, demonetization, yada yada. But I wonder how this is going to change that conversation. You always see people, especially people
Nothing's going to change.
Really, nothing at all.
Change.
Because this isn't the way you make change. That's not how you.
Here's what will happen. Everyone will talk about it on their podcast.
Damn.
And that's it.
Got me there.
Philly D will make a video about it.
Yeah, he actually
already
just
has,
did.
I believe.
There you go.
Yep.
Job done. Everybody wrap it up.
But I don't know. Isn't there
What kind of gun did she use?
It was a 9mm handgun.
How many people are dead?
Huh?
Only her?
She was the only one that's died as of right
injured.
now.
Good.
There's a few people that were injured that are in the hospital with varying degrees of severity.
Can I tweet the tweet now?
What's your tweet?
There's something about how only thoughts and prayers that should be going around are the ones thanking God she didn't have an AR-15.
Damn.
Poignant.
Wait, is it pignant or poignant?
I tweeted it.
You tweeted it?
I tweeted it before. No, I tweeted it before it was confirmed what gun she used. And then you guys were like, I don't know, not really safe to assume things. And you were right, I shouldn't.
Yeah, and the newest report is that she went to a gun range
I don't know.
right before the morning of. So yeah, the whole thing is just really bizarre.
Wait, she went to a gun range the morning before?
The morning of, yeah.
And got a gun?
She went to practice with it.
She'd already owned it?
Yeah.
I was about to say, Christ, on a bike. Yeah. What is this, Amazon Prime shit?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'm looking at stills of her videos, and they look bizarre.
They do look weird.
She's a weird looking
woman.
a
mid-ground of production value that's kind of creepy.
Yeah. It reminds me of early 2000s Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Or something. That's how I would describe it.
They look like those crazy people who make videos, who make entire channels dedicated to weird psycho shit. It's like someone wearing a bag on their head and a bunch of numbers displayed. It's very strange.
Yeah, absolutely. This is up that alley. But it's just terrifying that it came to this extreme of a conclusion, that this person was got caught up in, YouTube is censoring my shit, demonetization. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to fucking YouTube and shoot my gun. That's just insane to me to think about. That, I thought at most this was a domestic related thing. She had an ex-boyfriend or something that worked at YouTube and that's what motivated it, or an ex-employee who was mad about how they were treated. But no, it's just some random fucking crazy video creator who was mad about YouTube's general policies.
And she had a delete button. I wish guns didn't exist so much. It's just I know that's such a stupid thing to say, and I say it all the time when we talk about guns, but it's just so much power, man. I sound like a fucking idiot when I say man at the end of that. I was like, man. But she decided that she didn't like some people. So she got up that morning and said, I think I'm going to go try to delete some human beings and erase them from existence.
I'm just going to assume, again, and I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to assume she didn't do much research into who caused her demonetization.
No, she just picked some people.
I'm just going to assume she picked whoever she deemed worthy of the bullet.
Whoever she saw first?
Yes. People that probably had nothing to do with anything that she was going through.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, obviously, I don't want to say thoughts and prayers, but thoughts and prayers with the victims? Is that
I hope
okay
the doctors make their best effort to ensure that these patients make a full recovery.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah.
I hope we don't end up hearing
that somebody
didn't make it. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope the only casualty is this fucking
idiot,
crazy, awful person. So fuck them, and hopefully everyone else turns out.
She looks like an elf. She has a really sharp chin.
She just looks weird. Everything about this is weird, dude. Everything.
She looks like a carrot.
Caricature.
That's true. She looks like the girl from Alita Battle Angel.
Yes. She looks like an upscaled N64 character.
What a fucking idiot.
God. Okay. Let's get to some lighter stuff. Let's get to a fan email we received.
Wait. Can we do the Miramu thing first? Because she had quite a paragraph.
Go for it. Let's do it. That's up to you.
Okay. Miriamu sent us another amazing bit of artwork. And it's me. I feel like this is kind of whitewashing because Miles Morales is black, but it's Pena looking up, and then I said, he says, Patrick, I swear to God, and I say, I'm not Patrick, and then Yaman comes up and he says, what is he doing? And then Pena says, he won't come down, and I say, yeah, and I'm flipping you guys off. And
it's so good. I love it.
It's really good.
It's so
and
good.
What I love is the small details on the wall.
There's Vor. Yeah, and I'm dressed as Miles Morales. I was so conflicted about it though because it's kind of whitewashing. And in the caption, she says, "Another Prude Dudes themed comic with Patrick, Yaman, and Alex. I kind of love the idea of climbing on buildings and writing dumb shit on them or hiding things because it's so high up that no one can reach it or read it. Also, Miles has the cooler suit. I completely agree. If you had the Spidey powers, what would you do first? And for Alex, I have to pair up with Yaman because I have no idea what braid is." But it looks really neat. I don't know what that means.
That's what we talked about last week when I was mentioning braid, and you guys were like, what the fuck is braid?
Anyway, if you had the Spidey powers, what would you do first?
I would probably do something really benign and like try to steal something. Or no, I'd probably try to grab something across the room.
That's exactly. I was gonna say how first. Like I feel like they did a really good job in the OG Spider-Man movies where he's like, I've got Spider-Man powers, and he grabs the soda can off his table.
Yeah.
Well, I assume
that's what I would do.
There's two versions of Spider-Man. It's that the biological web fluid which comes out of your actual wrist, and then the one where he develops his own technology to have the web fluid. And I assume it's the latter because they're referring to Miles Morales and he can't produce web by himself.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
But, so you can jump really high and you have spider sense, and you're super strong, and you can cling to walls.
I'd probably try and climb some walls.
I'd probably go into DC and just climb around on shit.
Yeah, I'd probably be really terrified, but I think I would get used to it. I hope my fear of heights is removed with the spider powers as well, because otherwise I would just be crippled. I would be stuck on the wall, and I'd just be like, I don't know how to get down. Someone call the fire department, and they'd be like, dude, how the fuck are you stuck to a 90-degree wall? I'm like, I don't know, please.
And they try to pull you off the building, and you rip away some brick with your little sticky hands. Anyway,
I'm so sorry.
Really great job,
puberty.
You're the best.
Yeah, that shit is amazing. When I saw that, I was like, I look like a hot cartoon character. Like, what the fuck? That is the best version of me.
I love the frustration in our faces, and Alex and I are like facial expressions.
Yeah.
It's great. It's really well done.
I'm like obsessed with the details.
She draws hands very, very well. My little hand on the wall is very good.
Yeah, my hands are looking good. I love the way she did hair.
Yeah, she made you guys look like soft boys.
Yeah, for real. Like this is like not how my haircut actually looks, but she gave me like
you have very short hair.
A fade sort of, which is this is how I want my haircut in real life, but can't get it to look. So I'll just try to show this fucking cartoon to my barber and just be like, do this, please. This makes sense. But yeah, thank you, Miriam. Am I saying that right? Miriam.
There's an I.
Miriam. Oh, it's Miriam. Okay, great. Thank you for that. You are dope as fuck. This next email is from Tyler. Hey kids, just wanted to say I related to Patrick on a personal level with the whole please God stop touching me thing. A girl I used to work with at a fast food place a number of years ago was clearly interested in me, but she would leave her half-eaten food unwrapped in the ingredients cooler. She'd get all touchy-feely with me and was generally a religious weirdo. The worst part is, though, since I'm gay, I just had to brush her off and hope she'd leave. Because if she found out, she'd insist on being friends, and telling someone you were not interested relationship-wise is about 1/10 as bad as telling them you just straight up can't stand being around them at all. Thanks for reading. Love, Tyler. That's funny as shit.
That was amazing.
I would have dropped the I'm gay thing. They probably would have been like freaked out since they're all religious. Like, I can't be near sin. Sorry.
I have a similar motivation for why people shouldn't touch me.
Yeah.
Because you're gay?
Big gay.
Oh, yeah. That explains why I'm so repulsed by you constantly.
We didn't bring up that test that we took.
Oh, the stupid rice purity test thing?
So there's this test, Yaman brought it up to us. It's like there's like 100 questions, and if you check yes on one of them, that means you've done it, and it'd be like, oh, have I smooched someone, have I finger banged someone, have I done blah blah blah, and I got a 7, as in 7 of those things I have done. And
as in he has done all but 7 of the things listed on
those 7
site.
things aren't good things. They're like, have you contracted HIV and smoked crack?
I mean, a lot of them aren't good things. Like, I'd say more than half of them
Shut
aren't
up.
good things.
According to you conservative weirdo.
Yeah, I am a prude. See what I did there?
Yeah, and you got like a 99.5.
I got a 92. Leave me alone.
Alex, what did you get?
I am like still in the process of taking it, and I don't want to bother. Like,
Here,
doing
I'll
this
read
right
that
now.
at the next email while you finish.
Okay, go for it. I think I archived the one.
You archived the one.
I mean the one I just read, so you won't see it.
Oh, there we go. This is from Katana Riss. Hey, Prude, my name is Riss, and I'm a fan of your podcast. I haven't subscribed for very long, so I apologize for lack of knowledge, but could you guys talk about random stories from your high school days more often? When I was in high school, it was so boring and very small. My graduating class was about 48 people, so nothing ever really happened. I'm also curious...
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a lot. I'm also curious about how you guys acted during those days. For myself, I was a quiet girl who was into 80s rock and hot Cheetos. Sorry if my question triggers you in some way because your high school days will haunt you until the late hours of the night. Keep up all the good work you guys do, and maybe invite a guest to come on your podcast every once in a while to jazz things up. Much love, Riss.
Huh. That's up to you. I'm still taking this test, but I'll give my story at the very end.
A high school story. I've told a lot of them. Fuck.
I'm more curious to hear about Yaman's high school stories.
Yeah.
I know I don't know as much about Yaman.
I mean...
Wait, do you want to talk about that girl?
Which
The
one?
one.
The one.
Which one?
NIC.
I mean... What, like the whole...
How everybody teased you about it?
Asking... I don't remember that.
You should, because you were very upset
I
about
don't
it.
remember that.
There was a girl, and Yaman asked her out, and then later on in another class, a bunch of dudes heard that he was spitting game at this girl and teased him endlessly.
It wasn't like teasing. It was like hyping it up, sort of.
Acting like you just
as
proposed.
if it was going to go anywhere. Yeah, acting like it was going to go anywhere. It was one awkward... I don't even want to call it a date, but it was just not. There's a whole story behind how I got the date. It was all right. So it was like right before Christmas break, and for like 3 classes, I was prepared to ask this girl out, and I would like dress fairly average, and I would make sure like I smelled all right and everything, and like
showered.
And yeah, and like every time I would go to ask her out, like right after the class ended, she would be like either there'd be some excuse. I'd make up some excuse because I was like super nervous. She would be walking with her friends. That's weird. You can't just do it in front of her friends. That's weird. Or like the second time she wasn't walking with her friends, but like she went right out the door across the hall into the bathroom, and I was like, all right, well that's gone. And excuse after excuse, I almost gave up, and or I pretty much did give up. It was like the last day before the holiday break, the winter break, and a friend of mine who knew what I was doing saw that I wasn't like going out to ask her, and he was like, "Hey, Yaman, what's her name's by herself outside?" And I went and I asked her out, and she was like, "Yes." And I was like, "What?" So that happened.
What a fucking
There's
travesty. I'm so glad they made fun of you.
They didn't make fun of me. I don't even know where you're
They
getting
did.
that. It was they didn't.
Yes, they
They
did.
really didn't. It was very much hyping it up.
I just remember that one dude in our history class, and also, what was the other class I had with you? I think it was just history. With Mr. Pandon?
History. Yep. Anything else?
I'm not sure. I had lunch with you.
Well, that's because of the history. That's because of the history class.
Yeah, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong.
I don't know. We saw each other a lot more than just that class, though, right?
In the hallway sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a question about this test.
Yes.
Number 21, masturbated with an inanimate object.
I just said yes.
I think it's like a sex toy of some kind.
Okay. I've never used like a fleshlight.
You never used a
or
ring
anything.
or anything?
That's what it's asking.
No, a ring.
That's what
No.
I haven't either.
I feel like if I ever bought anything to get myself off, like it would just be weird. like I'm just like once I'm done, I'm just like yeah, I wouldn't know where to put it.
I would never.
I would
never know.
I feel like I want to throw this away.
Where do you keep that?
Like it's kind of gross.
What is that spot?
Are you talking about a fleshlight?
Yeah.
Yes, or something of the.
My score is 22.
God damn it! Why y'all make me feel so horrible?
Alex
about
is older
myself?
than I am.
I've done nothing. I have literally done
Patrick, wasn't
nothing.
your score 7 or
7.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was 7.
That's damn boy. Damn. Then you've done some like fucked up shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Not all of it. Like there were like crack cocaine and like have you killed someone? It was just bad stuff.
Like I would say 80 out of the 100 are like borderline acceptable.
And then the other 20 are if you do this, you're a monster.
You've done at least 13 things that I would just.
I'll go through what I. Fuck. Is it gonna save my answers? No, it
It's
didn't.
not.
Never mind. Okay. I was gonna say there was one question I like. Actually, I don't know if I want to talk about that.
What?
I don't know. This is a lot of personal stuff. I don't know if you would talk about that on the podcast.
I mean, a lot of this is like pretty basic. Like if you've done one,
it starts
kind of
off really big.
assumption.
I mean, even the stuff that starts off, it's really like groups. It's like groups of stuff.
Yeah.
There's like
it is group.
10
Have you
questions
kissed someone?
that
Have you
start
kissed
with.
someone you just met? Have you kissed someone that you just met that you don't know very well?
I know.
Yeah, just like
so
random
if the answer to the
stipulations.
first question is no, then it's just the next like 8 are no.
Yeah.
Like I think there were just a bunch of random stipulations that have never specifically applied to me. Like for example, I've never had sex in a swimming pool or in a hot tub because one, working at a pool, I know how fucking disgusting that is, and
It's
they
not
just
disgusting.
it's kind of gross, dude. Like
That's one that he's done. That's one that Patrick's done.
I assume it's something
Confirmed.
Patrick's done, but like, just no, like
It
just
has
knowing
to.
like what
The
goes
chances-
into a pool.
Yeah, and
like
chlorine
how all that
disinfects
shit-
everything. So how about that?
Yeah, I know, but also like,
Isn't
never
it?
mind. I'm
Do you
not gonna
think
get into it,
chlorine
but
is a
whatever.
spermicide?
I don't think it is, but
I mean,
Well,
because it
actually,
gets all up in there.
Patrick.
theoretically, should it
Anyways.
be?
Theoretically,
I need a
I think we need to
scientist
test
here.
this. Well, yeah, science.
I'm honestly
that's
surprised
what we
people
need.
don't just drop dead because of how much chlorine is in those pools.
Yeah, right. Like I was pouring buckets into the
Oh, and we
pool
poured
someday.
acid and then
I was pouring
calcium.
Yeah, dude. Like we poured so much shit into that. I don't know how people didn't
The
burn alive.
witch's
To be
brew that we had
honest.
to do.
Yeah. When like the chlorinators and shit would break, like just break out like the acid in the bottles, like take buckets of chlorine from the chlorine room and just toss it in the
Do you ever
pool.
look back on yourself and you know you worked with someone that's super, super attractive, and then you think about how gross and little squirrely fucking idiot, awkward, dumb idiot you were, and you're like, if only I could transplant myself to back then, I might have
Yes.
had a chance. I was
I know
specifically
who you're
thinking about
talking
one
about.
girl.
Our manager? One of our
Yes.
managers? I know exactly who you're talking
I don't
about.
know if I would have had a chance, though, because she liked really buff dudes.
Yeah. Well, not really. There was
The
The
one
other
thing she
manager-
said will stick with me until I die, and she said, I'm gonna have one person that I marry, and then I'm gonna have a black guy on the side.
goddamn.
And I was just like,
All right.
damn. That's like, I don't even know how to confront this or like offer my coolness to this.
Well, at the same time, like she also hooked up with
Everybody.
the bearded guy.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
like I thought was kind of gross. and
He was
greasy.
cool. I liked
He
him.
was cool, but like also I did not imagine they were in the same league
They
whatsoever. So
did
when
it
I
in the
found
pump
out,
room.
yeah. So when I found out that happened, I was just like,
I thought you and Annoying Girl were doing that.
no, I don't know. That's gross. Doing anything in the pump room is fucking
Not
gross.
just in the
Like,
pump
anything
room,
in
just in general.
no anything in a fucking pool context.
It was so
is not
loud in there
okay.
too. It's just like
Yeah.
I'm imagining like all the noises going on and you can't even hear it because it's like because the pump is
Getting
going
pumped
on.
in the pumped room, dude. That's the dream.
But there's these two big ballast tank things, and then if you prop someone in the middle, I can see that. Yeah.
You prop them in
Yeah.
the middle.
Or maybe if you just lay down all the tubes and make like a makeshift like soft.
It's
bed.
difficult because
It's
it's
difficult,
like a
but-
tall situation.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you and I had to go at it in there, I imagine it'd be very difficult.
It'd be a lot harder for us than it would be for other people, certainly.
Because
yeah.
it would be a lot of violence.
Was that
and
a
a lot
pun?
of
I think
struggling.
that was a pun.
Yeah, it would be.
I think
It's
that
just,
was a pun.
it primarily, I think, and I think this also applies to, having sex in unusual places
in
like cars or pools
fuck
and
car
stuff.
Sex. Oh my
it's
God.
very difficult if you're
Oh
tall
man, it's
like
the
me.
worst. Never doing that again.
Shut up, Yaman.
Totally.
Yaman, I'll take your car sex virginity. Don't worry. But
car sex virginity.
You're a real
your car
friend.
virginity.
So he
whatever.
can go back to the list and like check one off.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna work on getting your score up, Yaman. You're gonna fondle my tits, and you're gonna fucking give
Hell
it to me.
yeah,
in the
dude.
eyes.
Let's go.
But
Had sexual intercourse 10 or more times. I'm gonna need one of your help.
Okay. We'll swap off.
There we go. This is teamwork.
Do you ever do anything like
anyways.
excessively violent during sex, Pena?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe.
I like
you.
how I didn't even hesitate.
I don't believe you at all.
I
don't believe you would ever touch a hair on someone's head.
At first, I was uncomfortable with it for a while, but I've grown accustomed to it.
So recently, I was with someone, and
Well, like how violent? Are you putting knives to people's throats?
no, but
Okay, then we're probably on the same
It's just
level.
like usually the things that we do are aggressive, and
Do you draw blood? Have you ever drawn blood?
yes, and people have drawn blood for me.
Shit! That's okay.
so-
I'm not on that
Dang.
level.
So-
like at worst, I've had scratches.
So what
but-
what I always do is I just make sure that whatever I think is going to happen, I ask them what they are into, and I asked this person what they are, and then they told me a bunch of stuff, and one of them was hitting in the face. And I don't normally hit people in the face because it's just a lot of sensitive areas. Like,
Was
if
it
you
like
get
a
hit in the
slap
ear-
or like
a slap?
like
You don't
punch
get punched in the face. Not from me.
Okay,
I couldn't do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I could not bring myself to do that.
Give it
And
the
then-
old 1-2.
and it was going on.
Like
and
she'd
it was going
lose
on.
a few teeth.
It was going on, and it was really nice. And then I just threw in a slap, and she started bawling, like crying hard.
No.
And then I was just like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." And she started laughing like while she was crying, and it's just like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Dude.
And then
you found a girl
everything
with
was
some-
fine after that. But it was the scariest shit in the world.
Dude, you got a girl with some fucking daddy issues or some like ex issues. That's some fucking weird
Hey,
shit.
I wasn't the only one dealing the blows here. I have scratches on my back and stuff.
Did she hit you first or did you hit her first?
It was just a mutual hitting situation.
Like you timed each
so
other
weird.
so you would hit each other at the same time. Okay.
You did like how
Also,
we do
I
with the clap
kind of
sync.
hit
You
her
guys did like
ear.
a
I
slap
kind of
sync.
hit her right in the ear. She has a pierced
Yeah.
ear, so it was just like the most painful
Ooh.
thing I imagine.
I've done that. Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, it was
When
rough.
you accidentally. Well, it's hard because
It is hard.
the positioning again is difficult because you have to then balance yourself on one hand or arm or whatever you're doing, and then I'm assuming you're on top of this person.
Yep.
And then like bring up your other arm and like swiftly bring it down fast enough, but then you also have to quickly bring your hand back to like balance yourself, or something.
Damn,
it's just
how much
it's
trouble
a crazy,
do you have balancing?
It's a strange balancing act breaking it down. Like it's obviously a lot smoother in action, but as I think about it, I'm like, I wonder how I even do that. But yeah.
Afterwards, she told me that she usually, if you're doing that, you want to like do the thing that you do in golf where you sort of line it up a couple times and then go back and hit. Because what I just did is just
What the fuck are you putting off of her
Just out of
face?
nowhere.
People are gonna think I'm a monster, but this is something that she wanted to do, and
Hey,
she's not
it's
an abuse
consensual.
victim.
It's consensual.
It is
You're
consensual.
Good. You're good.
I
in
was
the
very
books.
scared for a moment though, because it was like, is this person gonna shoot me?
Was there, Patrick? I don't know if this was something you told me, like that happened to you, or if this was like a story. But there was the girl that
wanted the knockout pills.
Yeah, she wanted to be knocked out.
I think I've told Penny this before, but there was a girl that I was
it-
doing stuff with
was
for a
it-
while, and she,
Like-
after a couple normal stuff, the thing that we did, she produced a bag of indescript pills, and she was like, "I want you to give me one. I'm going to take one, and afterwards, when I'm asleep, I want you to do stuff to me." And I was like, "No," and then I left, and that was the end of our relationship.
What if you were like sure, and then she knocked out, and you
I'd
like go
rob
play
her.
Xbox for a little bit. You take all
Because that is the most incriminating situation in the world. First of
Yeah,
all,
there's
she
no
puts
way.
a lot of
Don't
trust
even.
in people. That's a ridiculous amount of trust. I could never do that. I can barely sleep next to people, like without
Mm-hmm.
being induced into it. Like, it's just craziness. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
one of them. I've had a
That
lot
girl-
of weird experiences like that.
That girl fucking has got to be real careful.
She knows what she wants.
Because there are people that would probably take it too far and like
That would
kill
probably
her or some
take
shit.
a whole lot of advantage of that. You don't
Yeah,
go on
but
Tinder if
that's-
you're looking for somebody to knock you out.
But also like you don't feel anything when you're knocked out, so I don't understand.
I think it was like, I want to be taken advantage of or something like that. That's a whole nother level of just like dominance.
That's just fucked up in general.
It's kind of fucked up, yeah.
It's pretty fucked up.
Isn't that kind of like where they're like
anything.
tying people up, kind of?
I don't know how I'm supposed to explain this person's fucking psyche to you, because she sounded completely insane. And she's like, so confident about it. She was like already she had like a Ziploc bag, and each of the pills had its own little baggie inside. It's like, how much preparation did you put into this? How often have you done this? I assume that they were like Hypnol or something like that, like a rape drug. It was just gross. Like, why do you have that?
That's pretty fucked up. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not shaming your kink, but
I mean, if there's a kink to shame, like
that's it.
That's
one of them. Like, that's really crossing a line, I think. Like,
yeah,
that's weird. Like, that's.
Could you do anything about that if she were like,
no,
he raped me? You couldn't do a damn thing, right?
Yeah.
Even like, if each of the fucking pills was signatured by her, and there's video evidence of her purchasing this stuff from a doctor, I'm almost certain you couldn't do a thing.
Yeah, like you're putting yourself in a lot of liability.
Yeah,
I don't even know why anyone would ever do that with like a limp like corpse, basically.
That is very corpse-like. That's weird.
It's very weird.
That's
weird.
People
are fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. It is like, it's just. All right. Anyways.
No good.
That was the most awkward like trip to the bathroom and then coming out pretending to be on the phone with my mom thing ever. I was just like, Mom, you've been in a car crash and there's a dinosaur attacking the house. I'm gonna go.
Dude,
I gotta go. You hang on to those, save them for a rainy day.
I gotta go. My fish just drowned. It's crazy. I gotta bye.
I've pulled the old my dad has been in a car accident and I need to go excuse.
When? Whoa.
It was more like, I don't know. It's a long story.
What I always say if I want to get out of something is I have church services, and no one has ever questioned that. I haven't been to church ever, and people still believe it.
I gotta go to church.
I volunteer at church, and they need me.
It's Tuesday afternoon, Pat. Where do you?
I'm a great person. That's all.
All right. On that weird note, we're gonna cut it off.
What are we gonna name this one?
Take these pills.
Yaman has all the sex.
Yaman.
We have sex in all caps with a question mark.
I think we should make it more clickbaity.
Not that clickbaity.
Yeah, well, sure.
I think it should be.
Patrick raped
me. Ew.
Dude, your life would be over.
That's
your
it.
Career
I'm not sure enough people would see this where it would matter.
Yeah, you're right.
Like 8 people listen to this.
I don't know. I constantly think like our podcast is not important, but then we have like such an engaged audience.
We have such talented people watching us who we don't deserve.
I'm just like, wow.
It's not when I say like, oh man, nobody watching this. I just want to stay humble because I don't like referring to people as fans either. It's gross.
Mm-hmm.
When we say fan mail, it's just like, ugh.
Well, email.
People mail.
People mail. Thank you.
Human mail. Okay. No, that sounds like we're getting
human mail, as in a male.
Oh, I was thinking AIO, but like mail, like
fair.
Anyways,
quit while you're ahead.
Anyway, wait, shut up. I'm gonna do the outro. Anyway, so if you want to send us stuff,
you're not gonna do the outro.
Yes, I am. So if you want to
send
us
stuff, prudedudes@gmail.com.
Send it to
I want to do the outro.
They're gonna be so confused. Shut up.
Send it to Prudedudes.
You don't even know the.
I don't even know the information.
If you have something to send it to prudedudes@gmail.com or Prudedudes on Twitter, same at, or Prudedudes on Instagram. If you have art, anything,
or
questions,
send it to Patrick's Tinder,
or send it to my Tinder. I don't know if you have a username for that. I think it's through Facebook, but I deleted Facebook and Tinder recently. If you want to send me something, it's PatrickCharlton5 on Twitter. Yaman is at Ramen Yaman.
Wrong.
Fuck.
You fucked it up. This is why you don't do
Yaman.
it.
It's Yaman. It's underscore Yaman.
Damn it.
It's underscore Yaman. I'm at AlexPenna97. Also, if you could go into the iTunes store, leave us a 5-star rating. We'll read the funny ones.
We only have 5-star ratings. It's crazy.
I know, it's great.
We're solid 5 stars.
We'll read the funny ones.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Some fucker is gonna go.
I was honestly shocked that it hadn't happened already. So it's not like it's gonna make a difference. Someone's gonna bring us from a 5-star down to like a 4.9.
Oh, hang on, we're up to 55. Last time I checked, we were at 53.
Guys, go in there.
Here we go. We got a new one.
Let's see if we can get to 600 by next week, guys. I feel it. I believe in you.
This one is from Kamini95. Dog bless you too. There's 3 of us, but okay.
Who knows who she's referring to? You guys, me and Yaman, me and Pena.
That's true. In the name of the Faxer, the Sluts, and the Holy Spitters. I like that. That's good.
I hope they put one of those copy pastes. It's like, hello, holiday slut elves. If you want daddy's holiday cummies, then you better get some candy cane.
Wait,
we don't need that. I feel like that's not the way we get people to watch our podcast.
I got one of those for Easter Sunday.
I love it.
It was amazing. But yeah, please leave any shit you want in our iTunes review section. We'll read it on the show. Thank you again for listening, guys. See you again next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.